So you're interested in speedrunning The Hobbit on PC, but you don't know where to get started. Well, that's exactly what this video is for. We'll be going over setup, using DxWnd to be able to play it in windowed mode, patching the game, raising the process priority, setting up your timer, all of that. At the bottom of this video, you will see the timeline. It is broken up into different parts. If you have one step already completed or want to watch something back, you can reference that to see where is what. I'll be taking you through the entire setup and download process here, so even the people that aren't the most tech savvy can follow along. Getting started with downloading the game. I'll be having all these links that I am showing on stream now down in the description. So whenever I will be talking about one of these websites, make sure to reference the description for a link there. So first of all, downloading the game. The Hobbit isn't widely available anymore, as it is a game that was released in 2003. You can't just buy it. So instead, we download it. It is abandoned and fairly safe to download without legal repercussions. But it is still at your own risk, obviously. Anyway, this is the website that I am confident works, and you can download the game from here, link in the description. You can click the Hobbit Windows ISO, and then you're going to click the archive.org link. Note that this website is on the slow side, so this download will probably take a while. Anyway, I'm going to hit cancel here because I've already downloaded this in advance. This might take up to an hour to download, depending. Okay, so for installing it, I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and I'm going to look for the Hobbit iso.zip. And normally you can just double click this to open it. I have an external file manager for zip files, so I'm going to right click open as with the default, so it looks like what you'll be seeing. Okay, and you'll see this folder, the Hobbit Windows ISO, in here once you've opened it. What you want to do is you want to right click this, just cut it, and go back to your downloads folder at the top here. Then go ahead and click in the blank space in your Explorer and paste it. And what we've just done, or what we're doing now, is extracting the folder so that we can use the contents of it. This can take a while, so give it a second here. Perfect. Okay, now we can double click in here, and we'll go to Game Files. We're going to go to CD1, and you see Hobbit CD1.iso. You're going to right click here and hit Mount. This is an image of an installation disk, so what this does is it basically pretends that you have the disk in your PC so we can install it. After you've done that, you'll see it brought you to this autorun.exe file, which is what we will click. Then we're going to hit Install. Going to say yes. And this is going to bring up the Install Shield wizard. Now, this is a good time for me to mention that I have previously installed some of these things. I did uninstall them for the sake of this tutorial, but some of my old settings files may remain, so not everything you're seeing may exactly be one-to-one as to what you'll be seeing. So use some of your common sense, your own insight when you spot some differences, but I'm trying to make it as close to 100% followable as possible. Anyway, once that's open, we're going to hit next, and we're just going to hit yes on the license agreement and the destination folder. I recommend not changing this unless you know what you're doing, because we will be needing to find this folder later. Anyway, just going to hit next, and this is going to take another second. And now it's going to tell you, please insert disk 2. So if you remember, we mounted the first disk, and that's going to pretend that it was inserted. So we'll do the same for the second disk, so it pretends that it's inserted. I'm going to go back in our File Explorer, and I'm going to go back into my Hobbit folder, Game Files, and I'm going to go to CD2, and right-click the Hobbit CD2 ISO, and mount this one now. Now if we go back to our installer and hit OK, it's going to find the disk and continue the installation. And yes, we'll take a desktop shortcut. I recommend doing this because it will be easier to locate our executable file after. And when it asks you to register the Hobbit TM, we're going to say no. We're almost ready to execute the game itself, but the next thing we want to do is patch it, because this game normally runs off of a CD. However, we want it to run without the CD because we don't own it and we cannot no longer buy it. So what we'll be getting for that is a CD loose patch. This will be available on hobbitspeedruns.com. That is this website under the resources tab, and we're going to scroll down to patch 1.3 modded patch to run without disk. Important you get this one. If you click it, it'll download, and I already have it downloaded in advance, so I'm going to hit cancel here. But you'll be getting that. And once you have that downloaded, we are once again going to open this in our Explorer. Going to go to our downloads folder, and we are going to, where is it? Here it is. We're going to open this. You can double click it and you'll get to where I'm going. I'm going to right click open it with Windows Explorer because, like I said, I use a different file manager normally, and I want to show the one that you're most likely to be using. Cool. So we're once again going to cut this and just keep that cut for the time being. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our desktop and we're going to see our Hobbit icon here. If you didn't get the icon, then you'll have to do an extra step. But for now, we're just going to right click this and we're going to go open file location. And this is going to take us to the directory where the Hobbit itself was installed. If you didn't get the desktop shortcut, you will have to go to this on your PC. So C, program files x68 or 86, sorry, Sierra, the Hobbit, and then here we want to go and paste the file that we cut earlier. Paste it, and it's going to ask if we want to replace meridian.exe. Yes, we want to do this. This will be patching our installation so we can run it without the disk. We're going to give our permissions. Cool. And our game is now patched and playable. However, when we speedrun The Hobbit, we like to run it through a program called DxWnd. DxWnd allows us to add extra settings and run the game in windowed mode, which is very nice because this is an old game. It doesn't run super well in full screen mode, and the extra features just make it more compatible with modern hardware. So I highly recommend using DxWnd as well. And we will be going over how to set that up now. But you can just run the game like this. And it just completely destroyed my resolution, but you'll see it's starting up and it's running. If it doesn't start up, then you should try installing the patch again because something probably went wrong there. Either way, Twitter leaked. Next, we are going to get DxWnd. Again, link in the description. I'm going to pull this up, and we're going to be brought to this site. And we're going to hit the big green download button. We're going to wait 5 seconds, and it will download DxWnd for us. Like I said, I have already downloaded this. Now, perfect. I'm going to close this, and check my downloads folder. Again, we can close this file for now and go to my downloads folder, and you see this v2 file is what we just downloaded. I am actually not sure. We cannot open this in our regular Windows File Explorer, so you will need to use something like 7-zip or WinRAR to open this. I will link this in the description below as well, but I will not show you how to install this because uninstalling this would be quite bothersome right now. If you're going to get 7-zip, just go to the website, hit download, and install. You'll probably just have to hit next a bunch of times. Once you've done that, you should be able to double-click this file. Then we will see a window that has all the files in it. And we are just going to create a new location for us to put this. And I'm going to put it on my desktop for the sake of easiness and the tutorial. So what I'm going to do is on my desktop, I'm going to hit right click and I'm going to hit new folder. And I'm just going to call this DxWnd. Got that? You should probably put this somewhere better. Like your own program files, but like I said, for the sake of the tutorial, I'm putting it right here. Cool. So we're going to go and grab all these files. Just select them all. Make sure you have all of them. You can do Control A to get all of them. I'm just going to drag them into this folder. Perfect. And we can feel free to close out of this. Now, if we open our DxWnd folder and we double click DxWnd.exe in here, it's going to give us, tell us to read the documentation, but we won't do that. So we just hit OK. And we have this window here. Now, what you want to do with DxWnd is you want to set it up for the game that you would like to play. In this case, I have put together two configuration files, that you can use and change to your liking so you don't have to start from scratch. So we'll be downloading those as well. So I'm going to go back to hobbitspeedruns.com, link in the description, and you see DxWnd config files here. Just going to click that, hit the download button in the top right here, and that's going to download it. Like always, I've already downloaded this in advance. We're going to check our downloads folder once again, and I am going to right-click. Actually, no, I'm not going to right-click it. I am going to open it again. Yep. And I'm going to select these files. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to, oh, I meant to open them with, okay, whatever. You get the drill by now. I'm just going to move these into my downloads folder, so I have them extracted, as it's called. And then back in DxWnd, I'm going to go to File, Import, and I'm going to go select these configuration files. You can click one, then Control-click the other one, and you can open both at the same time. Perfect. Now you see these two config files I've made, Hobbit windowed and Hobbit borderless full screen. If you installed the Hobbit in a different directory, then you will have to right-click one of these, modify, and make sure that this path still leads to your Hobbit installation directory. But if you've been following the tutorial like I've been doing so far, you won't need to do that. Okay, so once you have imported those, we can go and start one of them up. I'll start off by opening the Hobbit windowed one. And you'll see this opens the Hobbit in a window. You're probably going to see a different resolution from what I'm seeing. So the game will be a lot lower res. In that case, just go to Options, go to Video, and scroll on down to 1280 by 960, and then hit Apply. You'll see that as soon as you apply, this button might vanish really quickly. If that is the case, just click it, try to click it quick. Might take a couple tries, but it's a weird bug within the game. I'm not sure why that happens sometimes. Anyway, this is the windowed one. As you can see, it doesn't take up the full screen. And there is also the borderless full screen one, which I'll show off now. This is the one I prefer, which is basically, always takes a second to start it back up right after you close out. This is basically going to fill the screen with the game. Okay. Sometimes it does this, where I have to restart it. When I want to restart the game, I have to restart DxWnd. Not sure why. Anyway, you'll see this is practically full screen, except it's not really running in a full screen mode. So again, since this is a different resolution, I have to go and apply a different resolution. But I prefer to use this one. It's not truly full screen, so it doesn't like mess up your computer in any weird ways. You'll also notice that if I hit new game here, you can see that there's black bars on the side. That's because we're running this at a 4:3 resolution. And I recommend keeping these black bars on the side like I have here, because for some setups that you'll be taught in the guides, and if you watch other runners, we'll use 4:3 because that's the original game's aspect ratio. Okay, so I'm going to quit out of that. Now, if you have a lower resolution screen, for example, if you go and check, right-click anywhere on your desktop, go to Display Settings, and you check out your display resolution. If you have something lower than 1920 by 1080, which is what these configs are made for, you might have to tweak them a little bit. If you are running at 1920 by 1080 and are happy with these configs, then you can go ahead and ignore this part. If we want to tweak it, what we can do is we can select the one we like to tweak. In this case, I'll go for the windowed one. We can right click it and we can hit modify. This is going to bring us into the DxWnd settings. Now on the main tab, we can change our resolution to a different resolution we might like. So in this case, for this example, I'll go to 720 by 480. Now you'll also want to change this in the video tab over here in the bottom right. So 720 by 480. This is just whatever resolution you prefer. And the rest you can leave. Then we're going to hit OK. We're going to start it up again. And we'll see we have a smaller window. The same goes for the borderless full screen one. You'll just have to match your resolution. Okay, perfect. So we have DxWnd set up. Next, we're going to look at raising the priority of our process. Because when you're running the Hobbit, there's some weird stuff with the physics and your computer speed. So ideally, you want your computer to run or give the game priority so that there's no weird bugginess in the physics that you might encounter. This is an optional step, but I do recommend it. Basically, when you have the Hobbit running, which I'm going to run this windowed one, and it is doing this again. Hold up. Restarting DxWnd. Perfect. So when you have the Hobbit running, you're going to Alt-Tab out of it so you can get control of your mouse again. Just hit Alt-Tab on your keyboard and right-click your taskbar. Go to Task Manager. And in Task Manager, you're going to go to the Details tab. And you will go down to Meridian.exe. Right-click it and set the CPU priority to either high or real-time. Apparently high is better than real-time. And that means that your Hobbit is running at higher priority and it will most likely lag less and have less of an impact on the game's physics. This is annoying to have to do every time. I'm not going to go over it in this video, but you can get something called Prio, Process Priority Saver. If you download and install this, this is going to change your task manager, so you can save the priority you have set here by ticking this box. It's nice for the more advanced users, because otherwise, if you do want to play with a higher priority, you'll have to do it every time you start up the game. But if you use Prio, you can save it and it will remember it. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to close the game. We're going to want to look at timing our runs, and for that we're going to be using Livesplit. If you've previously speedrun, you've probably already know how to use Livesplit, but we will also be setting up the autosplitter, so you might want to stick around for that. Anyway, we're going to go and download Livesplit from the website, and this again is linked in the description. And we're just going to hit the download at whichever version number is the newest here. And again, like always, downloaded this beforehand. So after you're done downloading, go to your downloads folder and you'll see your Livesplit folder. We're just going to right click this, and we are actually, let's not right click it, let's keep it simple. Just like before, I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop. I'm going to call it Livesplit, and we're going to grab all the files inside of the zip file and drag it into the Livesplit folder. Perfect. Now we can close out of this and open our Livesplit folder, and we're going to run livesplit.exe. We're going to say yes. And we see this little timer on our screen. This timer is very advanced. We can right-click in it and change a bunch of settings. But we'll get to that later. For now, I'm going to show you how to get the splits. So if you've seen a Hobbit speedrun, you'll see the times they have on the side to mark how far in the game they are at which times. Those are called splits, and I have a pre-made file for you that you can download so you don't have to make those splits yourself. This is once again located on hobbitspeedruns.com, linked in the description, and we're going to go scroll to Livesplit splits. And again, we're just going to hit download here. And I actually downloaded those under a different name, so I'm just going to get these. Once that's downloaded, we're going to right-click in our Livesplit window. We're going to go to Open Splits, going to from File, and we're going to go to our Downloads folder. And we're going to go to the Hobbit splits and hit Open. Now you'll see, here we are. We have our splits already. You can customize this however you like, but that is out of the scope for this video. What I will show you is how to enable the autosplitter, because the autosplitter is going to automatically start and stop your timer for you when you're going through the game. How you do that is by going to right-click, Edit Splits, and you should see at the top here, autosplitter by MDPie for version 1.3. If you don't see that, you'll have to make sure that you go to game name The Hobbit at the top here, and it should appear. Anyway, we're just going to hit activate on this. And if you check these settings, it should say start, split, and reset are enabled. Perfect. We can hit OK here, then hit OK here. Make sure you don't hit cancel, but you hit OK. Otherwise, it does not save. And now we are going to go run our Hobbit windowed mode. So I can show it with the splits on the same side. If you have multiple monitors, you can just put your splits on any monitor. Oh, great. I have to restart it again. Still not sure why that is an issue for me. Now, when we go and hit New Game in The Hobbit, we'll see the timer starts by itself. And if we were to complete Dreamworld, which my keybinds are messed up, it will look, because I don't normally use the default keybinds, but I reinstalled that, so there's no way I'm going to be able to do Dreamworld. But yeah, if you reach other levels and so on, the timer will automatically stop and start. If we hit exit game now, we'll see the timer automatically stops and resets. Now you can keep track of your times. As soon as you beat the game, it will finish, and it's going to show you your final time. One last thing that you want to do with Livesplit is right-click it, make sure that under Compare Against, you are comparing to game time. This is going to subtract the load times from your splits and make sure that you have an accurate timing. Perfect. So that is Livesplit setup and the autosplitter setup. So next up, I'm going to show you how to efficiently practice using some practice saves and by using some cheats and with DxWnd. So first, I'll show you how to get practice saves. Again, these are resources I've uploaded to hobbitspeedruns.com for you. Also, if you remember to save your splits when you're done with Livesplit. Yeah, they're uploaded to hobbitspeedruns.com, link in the description. And you see in the on the resources page here, the PC practice save. We are once again going to download this. And I already have it downloaded. Now, in your File Explorer, you're going to go to Documents. Then you will see the Hobbit here. And this will be a folder that contains all your saves. I have these two files. Those shouldn't be there for you. Don't worry about these. I just did not want to remove those for this video. Now, when you have this open in one window, we're going to open our Downloads folder in the other. And we are going to look for our practice saves. And we're just going to grab all of these and drag them into our Hobbit saves folder. Perfect. Now, if we check out our DxWnd, and we go to load game, we'll see we have a bunch of saves spread all throughout the game that you can use to practice. It's very small, but you see what's going on. Perfect. Now, to cheat, because cheating will give you the access to the developer tools, which makes practicing a lot easier. I'll show you examples of how it works after we get it set up. For this, you're going to want to download DxWnd, a link in the description. With DxWnd, don't worry, this is completely safe. We can change stuff in-game and get access to the developer menu. Just go to the site, hit the big green download DxWnd button, you can't miss it. Then in our downloads, we see cheatengine72.exe. We're just going to run this installer. Hit yes. OK for English. Next. This is the only thing you have to look out for. DxWnd does include some promotional offers for getting software you probably don't want. Just make sure you decline it when you see it. Keep an eye out for that. don't want WinZip either. And now it's installing Cheat Engine for us. Perfect. It's going to ask if we want to launch the application. Let's do that. We don't want to try out the tutorial. Now with Cheat Engine running and our game running, I should have kept it open, honestly. That's on me. Let me restart DxWnd again. It is unfortunate how it keeps messing up, but hey. Now, while our game is running, this is important, we're going to go into Cheat Engine, and we're going to hit this computer icon with the magnifying glass in the top left, and we're going to look for our Hobbit process. You can see the icon here. Just going to hit Open, and now Cheat Engine is hooked into it, so it can change stuff within the Hobbit. We're going to want to download one more thing, and that is, again, going to the resources page of the Hobbit speedruns, link in the description. We are going to get this practice cheat table. Again, in the top right, just going to hit download and save it. I'm not going to do it. I already have it. Then, once you have that, in Cheat Engine, we're going to go to File, and we're going to hit Load. You need to do this when you are hooked into the process already. Then, you're going to go to your Downloads folder and just open meridian.ct. This is the cheat table you just downloaded. Now, you'll see at the bottom, we have a little table here with multiple things, and I'll go over what those do in a second. First, let's enter a level. Sure, this is fine. The most interesting thing is the developer mode. To turn that on, we want to go to the developer mode row in Cheat Engine, double click on value, and just type 1 instead of 0 here, then hit OK. The developer mode, when we hit tilde on our keyboard, that is probably the button below escape, depending on your keyboard layout, but mostly below escape. We get this menu. It is way too small to see right now. I'll fix that. I'll fix that. We're going to go into the borderless full screen version of the Hobbit. And I'm going to turn it back on again. I'm going to do this off screen. I need to hook it into the Hobbit again. Once again, change to 1. And now when we hit tilde, we see all these options. The interesting ones are invulnerability. If you just use arrow keys and enter, you can turn stuff on and off here. Turning on invulnerability makes you invulnerable. The other thing of interest is toggle render polycache. This is going to show you the geometry of everything and is very helpful for figuring out where invisible walls are. You can all turn this back off as well. This also allows you to hit Control plus F, and you can fly around, A and D to ascend, W and S to go forward, and just use your mouse to turn. Super useful. Then hit Control F again to go out of fly mode. Last important thing to mention is hit tilde again, and hit save to memory card. This is going to bring out a save menu as soon as you exit out of this with escape. And you can create a new save anywhere. Very useful for practicing, so I can save, and then if I check my saves, we'll see I have a new save there. Perfect. Other than that, there's some other stuff in the cheat table that you could use, but that is more advanced, so I will leave that for you to play with, or for another time. Perfect. Now we have our cheats, and we can practice efficiently. What is next? That is it, actually. With that said, you are now ready to speedrun The Hobbit. You have the timer, everything. I know this is a lengthy video. I wanted to make sure everything was covered, and it is an older game that doesn't run perfectly on newer hardware, so there are some extra steps required, but I really hope this helped. If you still have any questions, I recommend you do not use the comment section because it is hard to keep up with quickly, and I am the only one who can respond. Well, not who can respond, but I am the only one who will be keeping an eye on it. Instead, I highly recommend joining the Hobbit Speedruns Discord and asking here in one of the chats. There will be an invite link to this in the description. There's a bunch of super helpful and super nice people on here. If you run into trouble, they'll be sure to help you out. Including me, I'll be on here a lot too. Anyway, that's that. I hope you managed to set it up all perfectly, and I hope to see you on the leaderboard soon.